Hi students, welcome back to today's class. Now we are going to see under file handling, we are going to see the following topic, that is the flush function and input output streams. Okay, standard input output and error streams, the topic we will see. That is the last topic in this lesson. Okay, then after that we will see binary files and how we can read contents from binary files, and we can load the contents into the binary files or write the content into the binary files. That we will see as a program in another video. Okay, so now we are moving on to the flush function. Okay, so when you are writing onto the file using any of the write functions, we have seen write and write line function. Okay, so when you are writing onto the file using any of the write functions, Python holds everything to write in the file in buffer. So it will be holding in buffer whatever content we want to we are planning to write it in a file. No, it will be held in the buffer, and it pushes it onto an actual file on the storage device a later time. So later on, when we are closing the file, no, that time the file contents will automatically get loaded into the actual file on the storage device. Okay, but if, however, you want to force a Python to write the contents of the buffer onto the storage of the storage device, okay, you can use the flush function. So that is immediately if you want to write the content before you close the file, okay, you don't want to wait until you use the close function. Before you use the close function, you want to write all the contents, whatever contents you are planning to write, you want to write it onto the actual storage, okay, from the buffer. So for that, what function we can use means we can use the flush function. Okay, so Python, even if we are not using flush function, what Python will how Python will write the content. Till now we didn't see the use of flush function. Now only we are seeing flush function, but before that and all, we have used some write functions also. So Python automatically flushes the file buffers when closing them. Okay, so file buffers automatically will be moved on to the actual storage when we are closing them. That is this function, that is close function, is implicitly flush function is implicitly called by the close function. Okay, so when we are closing the file, when we are using this close function, or when we are calling this close function, immediately the flush is implicitly called. Okay, so even if you are not using flush function, when we are closing the file, at the time the file contents which are there in the buffer will get moved to the actual storage. Okay, so that is done implicitly. That flush function is called implicitly when we are calling the close function. But you may want to flush the data before closing any file. So for that, what we can do, we can use the flush function. So what is the syntax for using flush function? File object or file handle dot flush. Okay, so this is the syntax we need to use for moving the contents from the buffer to the actual file storage. Okay, so the flush function forces the writing of data on disk still pending in output buffer. So whatever content are still pending in the output buffer, everything will be right onto the disk. Okay, so consider the following example code. We will see on code how the flush function is working. Okay, so first we are opening the file using open function. The file name is out.log. Okay, within single quotes it is written, comma. So if you are not mentioning the actual path, the file will get automatically saved in Python current working directory. So where we are saving the program, no, there that is in Python, under Python files folder, this out.log will get automatically saved. Okay, so out.log you are opening in which mode? W plus mode. That means you can both perform write operation and as well as read operation. That is the meaning of W plus. So W plus means only for text files. Okay, we are working on text files only. Still we didn't move on to binary files. Okay, so binary files, the mode will be different. Okay, W plus B like that we will write, or WB plus like that we will write. Okay, so F is a file object or file handle, equal to open is a function. So normally using open function only we will perform read operation or write operation or append operation in the given file name. Okay, so F dot write. So this is one of the function write. Okay, so we are using write function in order to write the content with the along with the backslash n, that is a new line character. Okay, so like enter key it will work. Okay, so if you use enter key, how it will be shown on the screen. So automatically the cursor will be moving on to the next line when you are pressing enter key. Same like output is will be appearing in the first line, and then next statement will be coming to the next line. Okay, so f dot write the output is, so like that the content is need to be written, then f dot write. So now whatever we are giving within single quotes or double quotes using this write function, that will be held in where, that will be held in buffer only. Okay, so later on when we are closing the file only, when we are using this f dot close, no, file handle dot close, okay, that that time only implicitly this flush function is going to be called. So but here we are using flush function explicitly in order to flush the output buffer contents immediately to the file storage. Okay, so next statement also write statement only, write function only. So f dot write, next line we are writing. So here's a small modification is done, that is instead of giving entire contents within single double quotes or single quotes, no, my work status is, we can give in single quotes also, double quotes also, the entire statement. But here small changes they have done, that we have seen that in lower chapters, that is basic chapters and all, plus operators can be worked on both numbers and both strings only. Okay, so like that if you use plus, the content will get added. So that is my and work will get added together. So my work status is, like that we will see the content in the file. Okay, if you use plus operator between the two strings, okay, it will perform string concatenation. Okay, that we have seen in the lower chapters and all. Okay, now we are giving f dot flush. So what this will do now, so these two lines are going to be written into the actual file on the storage. Okay, the file on the actual disk. Okay, with this statement the strings returned so far, whatever strings returned so far, that is the outputters and my work statuses, have been pushed onto the actual file on the disk. And now again we are trying to write some more contents or some more lines in the same file. Okay, out.log we are going to write some more contents. So for that simply we for the small changes, no, they have used one variable name called yes. So that is string variable. Okay, so yes is now having, or now it is initialized with the value okay. Okay, so okay is a statement or a string which we are assigning to yes. So now that s is passed to this write function. Okay, so that means OK is going to be assigned through this variable string. Okay, so through the string variable, the value is going to be passed here. So now the write function is getting the value what? OK. And then next statement after OK, we need to give some, we need to move the cursor to the next line. So for that they have given \n, that is new line character. Okay, so within single quotes it is given. Now hash some other work, that means one more work also we are doing, that is what? F dot write finally over \n, like that one more statement is also written. This is actually called a single line command. Okay, so single line commands always starts with what? Hash symbol only. And these write statements, till now we didn't use flush. Okay, now we came to this f dot write function only. So these write statements strings may still pending to be written onto the disk. Okay, so next, if you are using f dot flush, what will happen? The flush function ensures that whatever is held in the output buffer. So after this flush function, only this OK and \n finally over \n, these statements are only available in the output buffer. So it will be ensuring that whatever is held in the output buffer, it will be returned onto the actual file on the disk. Then finally we are closing the file. Even if you are not using this f dot flush in two places, finally when we are using this f dot close, okay, f dot close, that time all the contents whatever we have written, okay, using f dot write function will be returned when we are using this close function. That is implicitly this flush function is going to be called by the close function in order to write the all the contents into the actual file on the disk. Okay, why we want to use the flush function in the sense, sometimes if the system is getting crashed or some kind of failures occurs, no, in between when we are running the program, that time the contents will not be written properly into the file. So for that reason only, immediately we are using the flush function before until we, why we want to wait till we use the close function. So for that only this flush function is used after writing certain lines. Okay, and next is removing white spaces after reading from the file. So till now we have seen flush function is used for write functions only. So when we are using write functions or when we are writing some contents, when we want to write some contents into the file, that time we want to use the flush function. So it will not be used when we are using read function. Okay. So how we can remove white spaces after reading from the file? So whenever if you read the contents from the file, so the content will be read along with the white spaces also. So you have seen that poem.txt. In that poem.txt, first statement was y. Okay, y question mark, like that. Only one, three, four letters, four-letter word was appearing as the first line, and before that y, it was kept in the middle of the poem. Okay, so that before y we have some white spaces, and after y also we had some spaces. Our backslash n will be there after y, because immediately we are moving to the next line now. So that uh, how we can remove those white spaces? Okay, whatever white spaces using tab or tab key or backslash n, okay, new line character. So we may use that keys in order to give the white spaces. Space bar also we may use. Okay, so how to remove these white spaces? So the read and read line functions discussed above. Totally we have seen three functions for read operation, that is read, read line, read lines. Okay, so read and read line functions read the data from the file and return the content in which format? String format only. Okay, so that we have seen clearly, that is when we are using read function and read line function, what kind of output we will get? We will get in a string format only. Contents will be returned in the form of string. But if you use read line function, read lines function, it returns the entire file content in a list. Okay, so list also is one of the data type we have seen. So string also is one of the data types. So in a string format, read and read line function returns the output, but read lines function, it returns the entire file content in the form of list. So where each line is one item of the list. So whatever line you are seeing in that output, no, that every line is going to be the item of a list. So list, inside the list will have items only, no, separated by commas, like that. Every line is going to be treated as one item in the list. Now, all these read functions also read the leading and trailing white spaces. Whatever read functions like read or read line or read lines, even if whatever you use, everything will read the contents from the file as leading and trailing, along with leading and trailing white spaces. That is, both left and also right and also we will have some white spaces if it is included in the file content. Okay, that is, the spaces are tags or new line characters, whatever we have given in the beginning or at the end of the content. Now it will be available. Okay, it will come along with the content itself, the leading and trailing white spaces. If you want to remove any of these trailing and leading white spaces, we can use what functions? Strip functions. So strip functions, we have three types. Okay, first one is R strip, L strip, and then strip. So totally we have three functions in order to remove the leading and trailing white spaces. So we can recall, that is the strip, it will remove, the strip function will remove the given character from both ends. That is, that white spaces are going to be removed from both left end also and from the right end also with the help of the strip function. If you go for this R strip, okay, R means right, L means left or leading, and then this is for trailing. So if you know L means what means, that is leading spaces can be removed, left hand spaces can be removed. R for right end. Okay, so R strip removes the given character from the trailing end, that is back end, right end. Okay, right end of the line. And L strip removes the given character, that is backslash n, that is white spaces are going to be removed from the leading end, left end. To understand this, we will see following examples. That is, first one, removing end of line. EOL means end of line. That is, end of line, we will have the backslash n. Normally, when you reach to the end of the line, defaultly you will be giving backslash n, or automatically backslash n will be done by the software itself. Okay, so automatically it will be moving on to the next line, or we need to press the forcefully. If you want to go to next line, you will be giving enter key. That is, enter key is acting like what? Backslash and only is treated as enter key here when you are writing contents in the file using programs. Okay, so removing EOL, that is backslash n character from the line read from the file. Okay, so whatever line we are reading from the file, from that if you want to remove this end of line character, so we will see example. Instead of this file, no, file function they have used, this is not correct. Just replace it as open. Okay, fh is the file pointer or file handle is equal to, here instead of file we need to use the name called open. Okay, so open pom.txt, it need to be closed with double quotes. See, one double quotes is open, but here a double quote is not closed. Okay, so you close the double quotes and then comma read mode you are opening. Okay, and because while reading only we will have that leading and trailing white spaces, no, that only we want to remove the help of the r strip and l strip functions. Okay, so line is equal to fketch dot read line. That means this line statement is going to have the content from the file pom dot, sorry, from the file only pom dot txt. It is going to read the line. So that is only one line is going to be read. First line alone will get read, no. If you use alone read line alone means what will happen? Only single line will get read. Okay, and so now we are going to use line. So content will be first line dot or strip backslash n, that is right side, that backslash n new line character is going to be removed. So in the form.txt, first line is y, just only one word y alone. You can go through in your book. Okay, in form.txt content, no, first line is always first line is given as y. Okay, so that y after question mark after we will have that backslash n. So that is going to be removed. So only one white space is there. After that y question mark, then backslash n, that is going to be removed with the help of this r strip, that is going to be assigned to this line. Okay, now see here, fketch is equal to, instead of file you just use open ma. Okay, so open function fketch is equal to open within double quotes e colon inside e drive inside we have this pom.txt comma read mode. Line is equal to fketch dot read line, and then length of line, if you see, 14 will be displayed. That is without using the strip function. Now after using this r strip function, that is backslash n, if you are removing, no, that is right end. So line 2 will be having, length of line 2 will be having what, 13, because only one backslash n will be there at the end of the first line. Now in the third statement we have used a strip. That means both the ends it is going to be removed, from left hand also, right hand also. From left hand, how many white spaces was there means 8 spaces was there before y. Okay, so now we will see the second one. After that we will see this third example here. Okay, and removing the leading white spaces from the line, read from the file. Line is equal to open pom.txt should be closed properly, comma r read mode dot read line. So straight away, instead of giving line dot read line, now straight away they have given dot read line. Okay, so line is equal to now line dot l strip. So from whatever line we have read, okay, that is going to be um, given here. Okay, so line dot l strip. So whatever we have assigned to this line, that is going to be removed here with the help of the white spaces are going to be removed from the obtained line, obtained first line. That leading white spaces and all going to be removed with the help of this line dot l strip function. Okay, now you can justify the output of the following code that works with the first line of the file pom.txt shown above, where the first line containing leading eight spaces followed by the word y and a backslash n in the end of the line. So y after we have the backslash n, before y we have 8 spaces. Okay, so that is going to be removed with the help of the strip function, so that the line will have only how many characters alone. So if you remove leading white spaces 8 and trailing only 1, that is backslash n, so remaining how many contents, how many letters alone is there, how many characters alone is there in the first line? Only 4. So if you count here, w is 1 byte and h is another byte and y is another byte and question mark is another byte. Okay, so totally how many bytes we have here? Only 4 letters, 4 characters we have here. That is only length after using this line dot strip function. Okay, so next we will see some information related to how to process the file. Okay, we need to follow the following steps in order to process any file. So processing means what? We can perform some kind of operations like read, write, okay, append, all those operations only known as processing. So if you want to work on a file, what are the steps we need to follow? So whatever till now we have discussed, that is only summarized here as the steps. Following lines list the steps that need to be followed in order as mentioned below. The 5 steps, so you need to follow the same order only whenever you work on the, whenever you want to do process on the file. Okay, so the 5 steps to use the files to use files in your Python program are, okay. First one, we need to determine the type of the file usage. So which way we are going to use the file, given file, by whether we are going to read the content from the file, or we are going to write the content into the file. That is only type of file usage, okay. So we are going to use the file for two purposes only one for giving input and another one for obtaining output, okay, obtaining output from the file. So under this step, you need to determine whether you need to perform, we need to open the file for reading purpose, that is input type of usage, or we are opening for writing purpose, that is output type of usage. If the data is to be brought in from a file to a memory, then the file must be opened in a mode that supports reading, okay. So from file, if you are reading content, that means if you are going to open file means, okay, that means it will use which mode, read mode or R plus mode only, okay. So you need to open the file for reading purpose. And similarly, the data after some processing is to be sent from the memory to the file. So if you are sending some content to the file, that means write only, no. So the file must be opened in mode that supports writing such as W or W plus or A. For appending also, at the end of the file also we can add some content. So for that we will use which mode, A mode, append mode, okay. And next step is open the file and assign its reference to a file objects. That is its address, the file's address, which file we are opening. That address need to be assigned for the file object, because with the help of the file object or file handle only, all read and write operations are going to be performed. So next you need to open the file using open function and assign it to a file handle or file object on which all the file operations will be performed, like reading, writing, everything can be performed with the help of this file handle only or file object only. Just remember to open the file in the file mode that you decided in step 1. So which mode you need to use, you need to decide based on this. So this is only file handle or file object, okay. So when you are opening file, instead of this file, no, you need to replace the word open, okay. When you are opening file, that file is going to be assigned to file object, okay. That reference is going to be assigned to file object. With the help of the file object only or file handle only, we can refer the file what we have mentioned inside the open function. Now process as required, okay. So whatever process you want to perform, you can do it. So as per the situation, you need to write the instructions to process the file as desired. So if you want to write the content, you need to start writing the content with the help of some write functions, okay. For example, you might need to open the file and then read it one line at a time while making some computation and so on, okay. Next, final step is close the file. So this is very important step, especially if you are opened file for the write mode, file in a write mode. So if you are opening, if you opened in the file in read mode, that is not a problem. But when you are opened, when you have opened the file in write mode, surely you need to use the close functions, because we discussed already that without using close functions, the file contents will not be written. It won't call flush functions implicitly, okay. So this is because sometimes the last lap of data remains in buffer, that is output buffer, and it is not pushed onto the disk until a close operation is performed. So this is very much important. Whenever you have opened a file in write mode, you need to compulsorily close the file using file object. So file object dot close you need to call, okay. Next one is importance or significance of file pointer in file handling. Okay, so file pointer or uh, that is file pointer we will be having, no. So in order to point the file, so what is the important of file pointer? Every file maintains a file pointer which tells the current position in the file where writing or reading will takes place. So it is used to indicate in which location it is pointing, okay. So it will be telling the current position of the current position in the file where we can perform write operation and also read operation, okay. So it will be like, in this context, there is a file pointer in this context works like a bookmark in a book. So you will be placing bookmark after reading certain pages, from which page onwards you need to start reading. So for that we will be placing some bookmarks inside the book, no. So in the same manner, after reading content from the file, up to which place we have read and from which place onwards we need to start reading. So to indicate that only, the file pointer is going to be used in the files, okay. So whenever you read something from the file or writing onto the file, then these two things happens involving only file pointer. So the operation, whatever operations takes place at the position of file pointer, and file pointer advances by the specified number of bytes. Okay, so read operation or write operation, whatever you are performing, it takes place at the position of file pointer only. Okay, and after reading or after writing some contents, the file pointer will be advances, that is, it will be moving forward direction by the specified number of bytes. After it reads, it will be moving to forward direction. So figure 5.5 illustrate this process. This is only figures. Okay, it will be showing the process, how the file pointer is moving after reading some contents from the file. So it is important to understand how a file pointer works in Python files. For that, a diagrammatic explanation is given. If you see this diagrammatic explanation, surely you'll be understand how the file pointer is pointing at the, whether it is pointing to the beginning or in the middle or at the end, or how it is advances or moves to next position. That also we will see based on the number of specified number of bytes. Okay, so the working of file pointer has been described in this figure. So first we are having file object or file handle. So fh is the file handle, is equal to open marks.det, that should be closed properly. See, so many examples we have seen, it was not closed in the book. Okay, in a book, you need to close it properly, otherwise it will be showing error. Okay, so marks.det is the file name, comma, it is opened in which mode? Read mode. Okay, so it will open the file and place the file pointer at the beginning of the file. So that we will see based on the file pointer's position, the position in the file of file pointer, no, it is going to be ruled or controlled by the modes what we are using, accessing modes we are using, or file accessing modes, read mode, write mode, append mode. So based on the modes what we are using, accessing modes what we are using in the file, based on that only the position of file pointer in the file can be determined. Okay, that we will see at the end of this figure. Okay, now we can see whatever is given here. So now initially it is pointing to beginning only because we have opened in read mode. Okay, so that always it will be pointing to beginning of the file whenever the file is opened in read mode. Now ch is equal to, okay, fh dot file pointer or file handle dot file object or file handle dot read of 1. That means only 1 byte we want to read. See here, you can see the blue color line. After reading 1 byte, now the file pointer is advances to which position? Next position. So specified number of bytes, it is advancing. So one position we have given in this read operation, read function. So 1 byte after reading, it is moving to next, it is pointing to next position. Okay, so it will read 1 byte from the file from the position of the file pointer is currently at. So currently initially it was there in beginning only. So after moving, after reading that 1 byte, it is moving to next position. Okay, and the file pointer advances by 1 byte. That is, now the ch will hold what? Now the ch will be holding only 1. Okay, that value 1 alone it will be holding. Value 1 alone will be passed here to ch, and the file pointer will be at the next byte holding value 2. So what file pointer is now pointing to? Number 2. Okay, so now you can see str is equal to fh dot read of 2. Now str string will be having the 2 characters from the file pointer position 2 comma. Okay, and 2 and comma will be there in the string. Okay, str. So now the str will hold 2 and comma, and the file pointer will be at the next byte holding the value h. So now after reading 2 byte from the file, from the position of the file pointer, from the position means what? Which position it was pointing previously? 2. Okay, so from this position it is reading 2 bytes, then afterwards it is moving to next location. Okay, that is file pointer advances by 2 bytes and it is now pointing to h. I think now you have understood how the file pointer is working in the file. Okay, now how the file pointer position is going to be determined. So file modes, what is the connection between the file mode and the file pointer, position of file pointer? Okay, so file modes and the opening position of the file pointer. Whenever the file is opened for read operation or write operation, at the opening time, what will be the position of file pointer? That is determined by or governed by file mode only. The position of file pointer is governed by the file mode it is opened in. That is, if you have opened in read or binary, that is binary files, if you are reading also, beginning of the file only, the file pointer will be pointing. R plus, okay, read and write. RB plus, read and write on binary, R plus B also for read and write only. Okay, so like that, W also beginning of the file only it will be pointing, but it will be overwriting the file if the file exists. Okay, already we have discussed W mode and A mode differences. Whenever we use W mode, it will be pointer will be at the beginning of the file, so that whatever content newly we are writing, it will be overwritten from the beginning. Okay, but if you open file in A mode, when you want to write some contents newly or add some contents newly with the existing contents, we need to go for this A mode only. So A mode, position of file pointer will be at the end, so that only it is not overwriting. Here it is pointing to beginning of the file when the file is opened, so that the contents are overwritten. But here file pointer position is at the end of the file, so no contents, existing contents are not going to be erased here when we are opening the file mode in A mode. Okay, file mode, when we are opening the file in appending mode. Okay, A B, A plus B, sorry, A B plus, A plus, all those things are used for appending only. Okay, if the file exists, um, so at the end of the file it will be pointing if the file exists, otherwise it will create a new file. Okay, now standard input, output and error streams, the topic we will see in the next video.